provide a general overview of the cockpit pilot stations and cockpit design philosophy of the ATR 72-500. Additionally, this module will show the emergency equipment locations for the whole aircraft. At the end of this module, you will be able to describe the cockpit layout, explain the cockpit design philosophy, locate the emergency equipment. Shown here is the cockpit layout and locations for various items on the captain's and first officer's stations. The captain and first officer seats are mounted on a secured base to the floor on each side of the center pedestal. Both seats can be adjusted up or down, forward or backward, and side to side for individual comfort. Both pilot seats are equipped with folding armrests. An observer seat is mounted directly behind the center pedestal between the electronic and electric racks. The observer seat can be stowed when not in use. Safety pins can be enabled, which allows the seat to be removed backward for emergency egress from the cockpit. All cockpit seats include a full harness and an inertial reel and locking handle for the shoulder harness. A seat position sight gauge is attached to the center windshield post for use by the flight crew for proper seat adjustment. The sight gauge includes 3 colored balls. A center ball is colored red. The outer balls are colored white. When the pilot's seat is adjusted correctly, the red ball will obscure the respective white ball. For example, the captain's seat is in the correct position if the red ball obscures the white ball on the right side of the gauge. The cockpit seats contain many features providing for pilot comfort. Each cockpit seat can be adjusted horizontally or vertically by use of the vertical and horizontal adjustment controls on the side of each seat. Lumbar support can be adjusted by control of the lumbar in, out, and lumbar up, down controls located on the side of each seat. A lever is provided for recline control. An inertial reel locking control is provided to enhance occupant restraint during a rapid deceleration event. Armrests are provided for pilot comfort. An observer's seat is installed behind the center pedestal, between the electrical and electronic panels. When not in use, the observer seat can be stowed in the up position and swung to face the electronic rack or transversely along the electronic rack. The ATR 72-500 push buttons display status and failure indications as shown here. Therefore, the dark concept applies in that the push-button display lights are off during normal continuous operation. The push-button display light illuminates to indicate a failure or abnormal condition. The failure alert appearing on the push-button requires corrective action by the flight crew. Several push-buttons are enclosed in an amber fluorescent border to help guide the flight crew to rapidly identify a switch in the event smoke accumulates in the cockpit. Shown here on the avionics vent panel and compartment temperature panel, the exhaust mode, overboard valve, recirculation fan 1 and 2, and flow push buttons are enclosed with an amber border. Push buttons enclosed with an amber border are pertinent in the evacuation of smoke from the aircraft. The cockpit door is a bulletproof, intrusion-resistant door, fully compliant with rapid decompression requirements. The door has an electromagnet locking system that's controlled by the flight crew. During normal operations, the door remains locked after closing the door. A manual bolt is used to lock the cockpit door if electrical power to the aircraft is lost. If the cockpit door jams, the flight crew can remove the right panel door by use of quick-release hinges that are only accessible from the cockpit side of the door. The cockpit door locking system, CDLS, provides the flight crew with the ability to lock and unlock the cockpit door. The system includes a door call panel on the compartment side of the fuselage, a cockpit door control panel, and a CDLS switch behind the first officer's seat. A cockpit door control unit provides control of the system for unlocking and locking the electromagnetic locks, alert annunciation for a lock failure, activation of the access request buzzer, and turning the door control panel light on. A door call panel, located on the cabin side of the cockpit door, enables the cabin crew to request access to the cockpit. Two different access modes can be requested, routine or emergency. Click on any of the push-button switches or lights to read its description. The cockpit door control unit is a system controller for the cockpit door. The controller receives commands from the flight crew to lock and unlock the electromagnetic locks, annunciate failures of an electromagnetic lock, activate the access request buzzer, and turn on the door call panel light. Operation of the cockpit door is accomplished by the cockpit door panel. The cockpit door panel is used to lock or unlock the cockpit door or deny access to the cockpit by locking the cockpit door. A 3-position toggle switch is used by the flight crew for cockpit door operation. To unlock the cockpit door, the flight crew pulls and holds the toggle switch in the open position until the cabin crew opens the right door panel of the cockpit door. Selecting the close position locks the cockpit door. Emergency access is available for the cabin crew. Selecting the deny position locks the cockpit door and inhibits emergency access, buzzer, and door call panel for 3 minutes. A fault open light illuminates to alert the flight crew to the status of the cockpit door. Open illuminates when the cockpit door is not closed and locked. The open light flashes if the cabin crew starts an emergency access procedure and no response is received by the flight crew. In this case, the door unlocks after a predetermined time. Fault displays indicating a cockpit door locking system failure. A speaker on the door control panel emits a buzzer sound for 2 seconds if the cabin crew requests access to the cockpit by pressing the call push button on the door call panel. The buzzer sounds continuously if the cabin crew starts an emergency access procedure. A cockpit door locking system switch, located behind the first officer's seat, provides the electrical supply to power the cockpit door locking system. The system is operative when the switch is selected to the on position. The cockpit door locking system is inoperative when the switch is selected to off, causing the cockpit door to unlock if it was locked. The ATR 72-500 is equipped with emergency equipment located in various parts of the aircraft for easy access in the event of an emergency. The aircraft is also equipped with an emergency lighting system. The cockpit is equipped with life jackets, smoke goggles, and quick donning oxygen mask at each crew member station. A portable fire extinguisher and crash axe are located at the bottom of the electrical rack. A single smoke hood is stored behind the left crew member station. A single plug-type hatch in the cockpit ceiling is provided as an emergency exit for the flight crew. Cabin emergency equipment is stowed in numerous locations throughout the passenger cabin. Cabin emergency equipment includes portable fire extinguishers, protective breathing equipment, first aid kits, a crash axe, life vest, and an oxygen supply for the passengers. Shown here are the locations of the emergency equipment. The emergency lighting system is installed and illuminates any time all other aircraft electrical power sources are no longer available. The emergency lighting system includes emergency exit signs, cabin general illumination, external emergency lighting, and floor proximity escape path marking. A tail prop attachment is provided for use when passengers are boarding or disembarking the aircraft. The tail prop must be installed on the aircraft to avoid tail contact with the ground. The tail prop is installed directly into the tail skid. When not in use, the tail prop is stowed aft of the aft bulkhead in the rear unpressurized area of the aircraft. This module described a general overview of the cockpit pilot stations and cockpit design philosophy of the ATR 72-500. Additionally, this module discussed the emergency equipment locations for the whole aircraft.